trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite. Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
Welcome to Hanging Loose, a disc golf podcast, hosted by Shanked DG and Papa Wolf. Today's guest from Tennessee 2s, Daniel.
Hello, welcome to the Hanging Loose podcast. I'm Shanked DG. With me, as always, is Spiiciiboii.
Hi, I'm not Spiiciiboii. I'm Brian Papa Wolf Frawley, and I was on time today.
He was on time today. Apologies for the Spicy fans out there. He is absent due to my fault. So I thought I could record at 6. I could not record at 6, and he could not make the 7 o'clock. So that's my bad. Sorry, Spicy.
Yeah, I'm not spicy. I'm white bread.
You're white bread.
Crushed red peppers is about as hot as I go.
It's too much salt.
I'll just give you the best I got. How's that sound?
Sounds great. This episode is brought to you by that guy, Great Lakes Disc. Use code Hanging Loose at checkout. Save 10% and save some pennies.
Great ad read.
Yeah.
Let me try.
It's great every week.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
This episode is brought to you by Great Lakes Disc. Use code Hanging Loose to save 10% and help support us. That's how we got this beautiful mic. Thank you so much for all those people that have done that.
Ew, that was too corporate. No, thank you. For sure.
I can turn the corporate on and off. When I got hired by Shay, my famous line was, well, I'm good on the boardroom and I'm good on the corner of the street. So just tell me what you need.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. It's kind of been feeling like that at I work at a auto dealership. I've brought it up several times on this podcast. But it is they hired me specifically because of my Shanked DG account. They're like, oh, this guy knows social media, blah blah blah. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then they failed to realize that like my brand of interaction on social, it doesn't meld with their corporate branding as an auto dealership. So I am handcuffed creatively in terms of what I can do. And I think it's starting to bite them in the butt a little bit. So, but they can't fire me. I haven't done anything wrong.
You can also get creative and work and do some things around it.
I'm trying, but it's very our best social posts are, this guy's been here for 10 years, congratulate him. And then like I try to post a nice picture of a car and like 4 people like it. So it's, I don't know. It's been a very social media heavy.
Are you asking an engaging question with that car?
Yeah, of course.
It can't just be a picture. It's got to be strategic, organic content. That's what Gary Vee would tell you.
And but you can't ask questions on Facebook.
Yeah, you can. You post a nice little picture and you say, what color do you think that this car would look best in? Boom. You got 8 people interacting. Hey, when you got nothing, 8's a lot.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough auto and social media talk. That's been like the last 3 episodes. How was the Disc Golf Expo?
Yeah. Northeast Disc Golf Expo. Shout out to Ben and his team that put on a great event. I was really happy to be there representing Paragon Disc Golf. Shout out Miles. And he is the man. So if you ever need back tags, clothing, anything like that, hit Miles and Paragon up. But the coolest thing about that is we were kind of right with the Paragon and Disc Golf Pro Tour booth, and we got to yuck it up with Dustin from the Pro Tour and have some fun with him. They were selling mystery boxes. They had a line right away when the gates opened, so I hopped over there and helped them for a little bit. Miles brought like 200 shirts, so I just talked to people and handed out free shirts to people. That was a good time. I got to give Ben and the organizers mad credit. The coolest thing, which I thought was not going to be the coolest thing, was the indoor 9-hole mini golf course.
The mini, yeah.
It was rocking from when I woke up in the morning to when I went to bed every night. They were filming some rounds, like people were getting into it.
Heck
Simon
yeah.
was there, Big Germ was there.
Yeah, I watched Simon's vlog about his time at the expo, and it looked like a lot of fun. But it seems like, so he even said it in the video. I don't know if, but he said that he was like, I just greeted my like 200th person, like I'm ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
I feel like, as fans of people like that, you kind of expect, like when you walk up, you're like, hey, can you sign my disc? And they're like, you expect kind of that also excited greeting because you just saw them for the first time, and but you're like the 300th person to walk through that line. They're like, yeah, what up, dude? Like, oh my god, I want to go home.
Yeah, that's what like coaches would preach. You got to play the same energy in the 60th game as you do the first game. And
Yeah.
I was with the YMCA for years, and the hardest thing to teach was like counselors. Like week 8 of day camp, like those kids might have come every week, but there's 5 or 6 that this is their only week they come. So you got to like make sure you're bringing that same energy every week to help everyone have the same experience. But yeah, access to the pros was great. I bought a non-discraft disc.
Uh-oh.
And then I bought another non-discraft disc. So
is that discraft above ground?
So I'm a Boston Bruins fan, so I bought a Prodigy disc. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, their NHL deal, right?
It's a PA3.
PA3.
So I bought that from Will Schuster. Got to talk to him a lot, but yeah, the weirdest thing that I got is this thing. For those of you that are listening on audio, I'm sorry I can't give you a cool surprise.
Oh, the Clash Tone.
This is Tone plastic, and the mold is the Salt from Clash.
Salt.
And it is a...
Is that their like Wraith clone?
Sure. We can look up flight numbers later. But it's soft on top, hard on bottom. It's as described. Very unique feeling.
Nice.
For
Does
those
it feel
of
like
us,
it melded well on the parting line?
Yeah, it looks good.
Because like when I first saw that, I kind of thought like the plastics wouldn't stick well, and like if you hit a tree hard enough, your disc would break in half, but the other way.
Yeah,
like it's split in the parting line.
Funny you bring that up. That was one of my first questions too, because there was actually some guys from Clash there that came all the way over from Norway, and I was like, "Hey guys, how's this holding up in the Norwegian winter?" And they're like, we had some testing issues, but yeah, it's looking pretty good now. So that was cool of them to be kind of honest about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool what they're doing over there. It seems like they're innovating, right? Like they're trying to take everyone in the disc golf manufacturing space, anyways. Is they hit a stride and they're on the treadmill now, right? Like how to make your discs, how do you make your plastic, stuff like that. But Clash with the Tone, it's kind of the first like change we've seen in disc manufacturing in a while. And I know they're doing something else. Aren't they doing like a fully biodegradable plastic?
I'm not sure
disc,
on that.
I guess it wouldn't be plastic, but
I do know that they are working, and I don't know
recyclable.
I don't know if this is breaking news or anything, but they were talking about it there. I'm sure somebody else has said this, but they're working on a 3 plastic type frisbee.
A 3?
So
like with an overmold?
I want you to think of like, I have an example, but I want you to think of like a poker chip.
Okay.
So it would be one plastic on the bottom, and then the black part or the solid part would be another plastic on top, and those white specks around would be a third plastic. So you would have 2 different densities to grip at.
Interesting.
And change. Yeah.
And you I'm sure they're trying to go for that like gyro science, right? With the heavier plastic towards the outside of the disc.
Listen, I'm sure that's something. I'm not a scientist, never claimed to be one, but I would say from the guy that does the sales and the marketing, I buy it. I'll buy one.
for sure.
And
What they're
I
doing
am
over there
your
is awesome.
average consumer. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the Northeast was cool to walk around and see all the different things. But Meadowbrook Orchards got to go out there and meet Dave Chandler. They got a private course on a apple orchard, and there's a restaurant with bomb ass breakfast.
Watch what you say.
Yeah, it was
I'm
pretty
an
good.
Apple guy.
Listen, I know you're sponsored by a certain Apple company, and I'm proud of you for doing that. That's great. But I'm pro apples in general. I have Apple tattoo on my arm, so
Ooh,
yeah.
nice. I can't be sponsored by frogs, unfortunately. That's my main tattoo.
I mean, not with that attitude, you can't be.
Hello, Mr. Frog. No, I interrupted you, and now I don't know where we were.
Yeah, I was just talking about the Northeast. It was fun. I would assume we see those types of things pop up in other regions. Maybe a Midwest one. Maybe I run it. I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I like the fact that there was enough people to engage everyone on Saturday. Sunday it snowed, so attendance was down a little bit, but it was nice to see people engaged and excited about disc golf and crowded hallways and different things like people, with radar guns and people with technology inside disc and board games and people talking.
I had a meeting. I don't know if you stopped by his booth, but I had a meeting with a guy from Disc AI a couple weeks ago. We had a really cool chat. He gave me access to his app for just like testing purposes. A very loose brand ambassadorship. I'm going to be using his app to try to get better this season, which I've already figured out a few things, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, having seeing him at the apparently got a bunch of pros to do like promo videos for him. He just needs to post them. If you're listening to this, buddy, use the stuff at your disposal. Yeah, I don't know if you stopped by there, but that Disc AI app is pretty cool. Yep. I think it's a little rough right now. I think it's still some work to be done, but in terms of use for players to get better, I think it's right up there with the tech disc. For sure.
I'll tell you, the two things that I was most surprised about up there is besides how good the tone technology felt. One, I was really surprised at how great the apple cider donuts were from Meadowbrook Orchards. I'm a donut guy. We got a place out here that makes a blueberry donut during blueberry season. That is just, but I ended up sitting and chatting with this dude named Brian. I was like, where are you from? He's like, Portland. I was like, all right, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm representing the Mojo Riser.
Oh, let's go.
He's one of the co-owners. Super chill dude and super fun. Ended up going out with him at night and stuff. But yeah, I put a Mojo Riser on one of my Grip C series. I got my an event this weekend coming up in the snow. So
nice.
I'm ready to see how that performs.
So I got in early on their stuff. It was early last year before they were even really in production. Just as to help them promote and stuff. I was skeptical at first, because it just kind of seems like a gimmicky type thing, right? But he sent me one before it in August last year or something like that. And the hardest part about using it, in my opinion, was remembering to use it. Actually getting into the habit of when you take your bag off, you got to kind of swing it around in front of you, pull the string, set the bag down. But once you get over that, it is a life changer, especially for field work or if you're just trying to throw 10 discs at a basket. You don't have to keep turning around and bending over, doing a squat or something. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up in terms of body strain, and then also keeping it off mud or snow or ticks, keeping it off the ground so ticks don't get on your bag. It's a sick piece of work. Did you screw yours in or did you strap it on?
Oh, yeah. I screwed mine in.
You screwed it in? I didn't want to put holes in my bag.
Listen, I I'm not saying I'm a hoarder of grip bags, but I got a few. So
You got a few.
I could sacrifice one. Speaking of grip bags, side quest story. I just got my holy grail of grip bags. You know, a lot of people listening, if they're really collectors, they're like, "Oh, you got the original Paul Macbeth red, white, and blue bag. There was only 30 made." And I'm like, "Nope, I already had one. Already sold one." There was the first run C series, no side pockets, water bottle holder on each side, super thin. I mean, like maybe 10 disc main compartment. Okay,
Damn. Is it like
super.
that Traverse bag from
It's thin. It's smaller.
smaller even?
Yeah, but it's still grip quality, a little bit taller, if you will. Um, and then it's in purple. So I've always liked the purple. I've never got to chance to get the purple. Got hooked up, got it. So that will be my like in season bag because like I throw, I don't know, 5 discs. Like I have to put in extras in my C series to begin with. So this one is even a smaller version of that. As long as it can hold 2 putters on top and a beat up zone on top, that's all I really need.
Right. Yeah. Heck yeah. Smaller than the Traverse even. Like, damn.
Yeah, I wish I had it. It's in my garage. I would show you, but yeah, it's cool. I'll do it in the bag here probably in the spring. So I'll have the Mojo set up, the Zuka set up, and then my C series Glory.
Heck yeah. When I got sponsored by the Cosmic Crisp people, I was gonna do it in the bag and just like have the bag facing away from the camera and be like, "This is my dry apple. This is my mid apple."
Perfect.
do a dumb little in the bag, and but they only sent me 8. Come on, Cosmic Crisp, sending me free stuff. It's not enough free stuff.
I think if you got apples as a sponsor, every time, every post has to be hashtag how do you like them apples? Yeah.
See,
So
this is the difference between a marketing amateur and a marketing professional. Okay.
I'm only professional because I get a paycheck, not because I act that way. I often joke with Shay that the more successful Great Lakes is, the more sweatpants I can wear.
That's fair. It's fair.
You know,
I think
year
you
one,
do a
year
great
two.
job.
Yeah, year 1, year 2, it was getting that chicken nugget money for the kids, you know, and now it's, you know, how long can I stay in sweatpants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could wear sweatpants at work again.
You know,
Stupid car dealerships and having to look proper.
just put it on your vision board. Put it on your vision board. Like,
Yeah.
get to sweatpants.
Yep. I'm trying. So I heard you're a Disc Golf Valley guy.
Okay.
Now
I
you gotta watch it because I am a Disc Golf Valley guy.
Okay.
And we might need to go head to head.
I'm the opposite of a Disc Golf Valley guy. I was into it for a minute. I deleted it off my phone.
No.
3 weeks ago randomly. I was like, I'm gonna play some Disc Golf Valley. Couldn't remember my login, didn't know what I used to get in. I had bought like the Paul Macbeth stuff and like you know thrown as much Discraft as I could in there, and so I re-downloaded, started over. Just getting to the point where I'm playing matches with other people now.
Oh, okay.
I get a text last night mid-match. You playing some Disc Golf Valley? It's from Andrew Marweed. I was playing against Andrew Marweed. He was down in Florida. We were playing against each other. Yeah.
Dude, I've always wondered that's awesome. Because like my name on there is the same as it is everywhere else. And I expected one of these days that someone would be like, "Hey, I played you last night," but it hasn't happened. But you got matched up with Andrew Marweed from all the way in Florida.
My name on most social handles is Papa Wolf 39996, and I use that for most of my gamer handles too. Just I don't game a lot, but I do play phone games while we're watching nothing at night. And his name is not Andrew Marweed, by the way, so I'm not going to reveal it. I'll keep his anonymity safe. But it was just really random. It was funny that we, out of all the people playing at that time of day in the 4 slots, me and him fell in the same slot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. Small world, even though there's a ton of people play. I almost dropped Disc Golf Valley because when Investor Group bought Trilogy, why is the name escaping me?
House of Discs.
House of Discs. Thank you. When they bought Trilogy, they also got control of Disc Golf Valley, and Disc Golf Valley changed very quickly. Like there was all of a sudden like banner ads in game, which to be fair is pretty clever because that's how disc golf advertises in general. It's always like the OB liners and stuff like that.
Yep.
So a pretty clever way to throw ads in the game. But I was just very much like, this is like this. Stop trying to corporatize disc golf. Very angsty boy stuff. But
listen, you can have that angsty boy. I think that you're allowed to. As a person that feels protective of disc golf, also, I totally see where you're coming from. I'm like in that app, like I don't care. Advertise the F out of it.
it's kind of where and the game has changed for the better in other ways.
Yeah,
so
I played Maple
clearly
Hill.
it made a difference. They make more money. They're able to develop it more, and it's a better product now. And I just paid to get rid of ads.
Yeah, plus there's probably like people that don't play disc golf that play Disc Golf Valley. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
So like, yeah, the more we can engage them, the more people play disc golf, the longer I stay
Absolutely.
in sweatpants. Full
Yeah,
circle.
that's I'm excited for the chess.com invitational because it has just dawned on me how popular chess.com is. It is huge. Like
I'm terrible at it, but I maybe I'll download it. Maybe I'll get into that because of their sponsorship at disc golf.
Yeah, and like I was like I had heard that kids, whatever. I'm not that much older. Shakes fist at clouds. That they're like there's schools banning chess.com because kids are playing chess instead of paying attention in school. Like to the point where like somehow chess has gotten to be a cool thing, which it was always just like, my dad taught me how to play chess, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when I heard chess.com invitational, I was like, oh, that's so weird crossover. But now I'm excited because when that hits, I assume chess.com is going to help with the marketing, sharing stuff. I would think they're presenting sponsor. They should.
I don't know. I don't know if let's see if we go to chess.com right now, if we can see anything about.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd promote it early. You'd think they'd want to, though, because that doesn't really benefit them. But
I do know that we have a pawn on 18, I believe, under the basket holding up.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if that's 100% true. This is what I've heard from other places. I'm not there.
100% true.
And I know that based on a couple of other podcasts that I have seen, not just yours. I know it's shocking. That the owners of chess.com, or at least one of the owners of chess.com, will be there as well. So I'm that's super cool. Like, way to go outside of the box, guys.
Yeah, that's huge, and going to expose a lot of people to disc golf. The conversion rate on that, who knows? But like, just new eyes seeing the sport is always cool. I mean, there's if 1% of the people join, that's growing the sport. So
yeah, I mean, here's your low key way to grow the sport. Are you ready? Next time you're like out and about at a non-corporate bar, okay? So maybe it's a local brewery, maybe it's your local dive, whatever. Maybe it's the chicken wing joint. If they have like not a major sporting event on, like, so don't go do this on like Super Bowl Sunday, but like random Tuesday, there ain't much on TV, no one's engaged. Be like, hey, do any of your TVs have a Chromecast? And just put on an old DGN episode. I've literally done it. And just all of a sudden you hear people around you like, I said, disc golf's on TV. Like, what's that?
Right.
And then you get to start engaging people. And then boom, you
on final round 21 Worlds.
Yeah. If you're a sports fan and you watch that, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Heck
yeah, dude.
Super
this is the part, shout out RB3. This is the part he hates, where I kill all vibes and go to drop a link in someone's DM. All right, we're back.
There's nothing wrong with that. What's the next thing you want me to talk about randomly?
So a lot of the stuff that I sent you in my list was stuff we were going to talk to. Oh, guest today is Tennessee 2s. He does not know that you're not spicy, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm already excited for this.
So okay, yeah. So a little the story from tonight's thing. So I thought I could do the podcast at 6. I couldn't, so I had to push it back to 7. Spicy couldn't make 7 work, so he's not here. Brian's here, but we were supposed to have Jeremy London on tonight, but he's sick today, so he decided he's gonna bow out. So I got Tennessee 2s on to surprise Spicy, to like kind of throw him off guard, because he thought we were getting Jeremy, then it was going to be Tennessee 2s, but Tennessee 2s thinks he's hopping on to surprise Spicy, who isn't here. That's Brian. So it's very convoluted. And
so based on this last few minutes of really intriguing podcast, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
I was the third invitee to this dance party. So I'm glad that I somehow ended up on
yeah, we all, everyone's here. That was, well, besides Jeremy, he was planned last week, but he got sick. Yeah, we ended up, the spot was either going to be given to you or Tennessee 2s, who just popped in the green room. We'll let him simmer.
Simmer.
Who, fuck it, I forgot what I was saying. Get in here.
Yeah.
What up, Daniel?
Way to just go left field on that.
Yeah, no, I forgot what I was saying. This is a professional podcast.
I'm going to adjust my studio, i.e. my bedroom, for a minute.
Oh, all right.
Well, keep it PG.
No, none of that.
All right.
That's next week.
It's not my podcast.
We loosely have a courtesy violation next week, so that should be fun.
Oh, that'll be good.
This is when I talk about my favorite social media and it being X. Like, people are like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I don't know anyone's real names, but I know their handles and they're funny, and I like them."
Yeah, well, Twitter's so much different than because Instagram is very much look at me, right? And you've got TikTok, which is also just look at me, but like I'm moving now.
Fair.
And then Twitter is a genuine community. Like, it's like I can talk to you, you can talk to me. It promotes engagement unlike any other platform. Daniel with the Jordan Peterson hands.
Not creepy at all.
I'm just listening. I'm observing. Twitter is one of those weird things too. Like, you talked about it a little bit last week, actually, on the pod, where you kind of wished that media would do better on Twitter. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm the exact opposite, because part of the reason that I use Twitter is because it's the last platform, in my opinion, where just posting and just putting your thoughts out there is not suppressed by the algorithm. Facebook suppresses just regular posting. Instagram is obviously media based, It's the last true, I could just put a thought out there and let people engage with it. So, and I want media to do better. I would like better quality media, but I don't necessarily want it to become a focus, because I'm afraid if it gets too much better, it will become a focus.
That's very fair, because I mean, you ride that line of Twitter being very community based to, as soon as you start promoting image/video posts, it does border real close on that like look at me brand of Twitter or of social media, which I think there's enough of that, and
right.
I'll never call it X, because it's Twitter, right? Like,
I use the hashtag disc golf Twitter, but like I will say X just as the fact that that's it.
It is the name now, except for I think on browser it's still twitter.com. So
it's Twitter, man.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody calls it.
And Threads sucks. I got responded to by T-Mobile on Threads, which is like, I think that's the benefit of it, is it's small and it's all brands.
Yeah.
So that like you could maybe make connections. It's like LinkedIn. You can make connections with the weirdest or most left field brands, and like maybe do something with that. But
or maybe somebody famous is going to follow you.
Yeah, because there's like 7 people on Threads.
Because you're randomly like talking to people.
Yeah.
About disc golf, on X. I have a pretty cool follow. I have somebody that follows me.
Who is it?
I try to know everything about disc golf. I learn as much as I can. And when I found out one of my favorite TV I guess celebrities, was a disc golfer. I made sure to follow them, and then they eventually followed me back. We've engaged and met a few times. But Andrew Zimmern.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
I've seen him on disc golf Twitter a couple times.
yep, like
I knew he was famous. I don't know who he is, but
yeah, he's a Food Network, Travel Channel guy, famous chef. He's got a great story about how he found disc golf as he was recovering and becoming sober, and he's been sober for a really long time now, and still disc golfs. And
heck yeah.
you know, it's crazy. He does a great job on social media too, whatever his team is or who's ever engaging him. So like, it's kind of cool just to be like, yeah, that guy's probably out there throwing a wraith right now, and I'm watching him cook. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, being able to, like, the fact that you could possibly, have a round with someone that's that famous, and disc golf is like such a medium that you could do it with anyone, right?
Yeah.
I think it's why leagues are so, because you can, like, random draw doubles, right? You can get paired with someone you've never met and can immediately kick it off because you just have that thing in common, the common struggle, kind of levels the playing field for everyone. Anyways, Daniel, you've been in here for 5 minutes now. Haven't even introduced yourself. What's up, dude?
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name is Daniel. I'm one of the two of S2E2s. I'm pretty much the primary of the Twitter accounts, and our Facebook and Instagrams have been a little silent recently. For those of you who have been following us quite a while now, you'll know that one of our twos just recently had a baby this year, or last year, I should say. So obviously, we've kind of put a lot of like content and stuff on hold, and we are starting to really work out of that. We'll talk a little bit more about that here later for sure, I'm sure. But other than that, for anybody who's wondering who's doing 90% of the shit posting on Twitter, it's usually me. I'm sure most of you realize, like, I'm always down to have some sort of a debate. I usually try to keep it like really back and forth with a lot of interaction. Never out here to like bash or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If for those of you who have been on my page long enough, you'll actually notice that I play a lot of devil's advocate. I argue stuff that I don't even believe in quite often, just for the sake of argument, and because I like hearing other people's thoughts. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and that's my favorite part about Twitter, personally. I can't wait to get back into the content creation game a little bit outside of that.
Heck yeah. I was so nervous to like start truly making stuff. Like I did the stuff that everyone else did, where you like film yourself throw hole 7 at your local whatever the fuck. But
Absolutely.
That's what everyone does, and I was so nervous to actually start like making stuff as great as this podcast is. But like as soon as I started doing it, it's so much fun. Like I understand why there's 700 disc golf podcasts, because like it's fun. You get to hang out with friends, and like, sure, I care about the numbers of views and stuff, but like I would have never talked to Brian or you or Spicy, or I would have never like truly met any of you people. Yeah. If I didn't take the leap and just say, screw it. Like if I get made fun of by 5 people, like who cares? I don't know you.
Absolutely. I mean, interestingly enough, so, for anybody who hasn't noticed, I'm not from Tennessee. My co-host, who is the person who came up with the idea of S2E2s disc golf, he's from Tennessee. He's never lived anywhere except for Tennessee. I am a little more well-traveled personally. I'm born and raised in northern Nevada near Reno, Lake Tahoe areas. I've lived in California. I've lived in Wyoming. I've spent a lot of time in places like Florida or, a few other places like that. So
I believe
I'm very well-traveled.
Florida.
You're probably right.
I believe that.
Sorry. Florida.
Thank you.
Anyways, so it's one of those things where, like, I just kind of joined along, and it turned into something that was really, really cool for me, because it actually helped me connect with people around my area. Courtesy Violation Pod, for example, Chris B Disc Golf. If anybody has not seen that account, I'm sure you have.
Yeah,
those
Chris is
are
the best.
those are my two favorite people to play with here in the Knoxville region, and I never would have ever met them outside of the Twitter world.
Yeah. Chris's post the other like last week when he's just like just a weird guy or weird little guy in Boston cracking up, dude. he's such a funny dude. He gets mentioned on this podcast so much. I don't even think he listens to it.
I don't know about that. Yeah, he might. Don't underestimate what he listens to. He doesn't always talk about the things that he's doing online very often.
Yeah,
but he's doing things behind the scenes.
He's doing things,
and I think it would be.
He's doing things.
He's doing things.
Where was he on January? No.
Oh gosh.
Start this episode off with same way we did with Brian. He's gonna log off.
I have to.
Quick reminder.
There goes Daniel.
Oh, you already.
All right, I'm back.
No, I was gonna make I had a cold open for the show this week, but with Brian here, I probably shouldn't associate him with my nonsense.
Yeah, we would appreciate that. Not.
We're enough that you play us in your shop as it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people got to realize that I put on content most days. I mean, music or content, but like, just because you get one view doesn't mean 15 people didn't hear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Be like, hey, what's that?
That's true.
No, we really do appreciate it, and we try to keep this show. I mean, comparatively to like Courtesy Violation, we are tame.
Well,
but
I mean, to give it, they are called Courtesy Violation.
Oh yeah, no. They're the only
them.
other besides Tour Life, which I listened to one episode over like 2 weeks because it's so long.
Sorry, side note, totally sidetracked. I have completely cut out like Foundation podcasts from my life, man. It's not that I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
I find them enjoyable. I just don't have time. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And they're so long. It's just like,
there's a YouTube channel called Great Lakes Disc where there's approximately a 10 to 15 to maybe even a half hour video podcast that drops once or twice a week. It's convenience for you on your ride into work or something like that. We work for the people, by the people. You should check it out.
Hey, watch it.
Wait, what?
4 people by that sounds a lot like 4 AMs by AMs. Start a podcast interviewing people after we started one. We're established.
Exclamation point something inserts my podcast that hasn't run an episode in about a year now.
I was listening to yours. Plug. Yours was actually the first disc golf podcast I listened to. Back when it was when I first started trying. It took a while for me to get into disc golf podcast. It was a lot like it was bordering on too much of the same thing. Like I was playing disc golf, I was watching disc golf, and now I'm listening to disc golf. Like, and I was scared to burn myself out on it, which I've come to find out that's not going to happen.
Yes, that's 100% true. Yeah, like I said, it's not that I don't like Foundation podcasts. I just don't have the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many of them. So I kind of choose like Courtesy Violation comes out once every couple of weeks, essentially. So I can find time to fit that in.
Yeah.
I've been finding a little bit of time for you. You've been really good for like background while I'm working. Because you guys don't do a lot of like show and tell or anything. I can really just listen to audio. It's totally.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally good for that sort of thing.
RV3 does a great job making our audio version listenable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for like us, for our podcast, part of the reason we actually planned on starting it up a lot earlier, restarting after the baby. And then we sort of hit an identity crisis, if you will. And what I mean by that is we didn't really have a problem necessarily with what our podcast was before, but if you, being a listener, you probably remember we were very, very focused on the Pro Tour scene.
Yeah.
And a lot of our stuff was very like, and in the time that we were away, that scene had gained tripled or quadrupled the saturation.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of podcasts that were covering it and talking about all the same stuff. And when we looked at it, we were like, that's not really what we want to come back to. So that's, if anybody's wondering why the podcast hasn't started up back yet, it's because we haven't thoroughly figured out exactly what we want the podcast to be again.
That's very fair. I don't know if it's to the detriment of this show or not, but I don't have a vision for this. I just kind of, me and Spicy hop on, and then we bullshit for a half hour, and then we get a guest on, and then we bullshit for another half hour, and that's the show. Like,
to be completely honest, like that's what all of the best podcasts are. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a comedian called Chad Daniels and Cy Amundsen. They both have a podcast. It's called The Middle of Somewhere.
I think it's been advertised to me. That sounds very familiar.
And I kid you not, it's just two stand-up comedians just BSing with each other for an hour and a half. And it is the most brilliant
That's
podcast
never been done
I've ever
before
heard in my entire life. And it's exactly the same as all the other ones. I don't know what it is, like their personalities mesh with me a little bit better than like Two Bears, One Cave kind of a thing. Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong, they're so over the top on that one. Whereas Middle of Somewhere, they're a little like more controlled and like
mellowed out.
Yeah, and they're kind of letting the jokes make themselves instead of kind of forcing the jokes out. But don't get me wrong. I mean, Two Bears, One Cave was also a really good listen for a long time, especially like Middle of Somewhere is a true audio only podcast. I don't know that they ever did video versions. I think they might have tried it for a little while and stopped. I don't know, but Two Bears, One Cave really needed the video. The video version was just elite comparatively.
Oh, for sure.
So,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, this hat sponsorship came because I listened to a different podcast. So it's a weird perfect storm of nonsense, and I just took the chance and got the yes. So
I'm
that's last week's episode is about that. Just try.
I was just happy to to kind of push you towards that just a little bit farther. I mean,
oh yeah, you were
like 80% of your engagement on that entire post.
No shit, you were anti Cosmic Crisp.
I'm not anti Cosmic. Okay, listen, they're a fine apple.
He hates.
They are a fine.
He thinks
apple.
Pink Lady is better than a Cosmic Crisp. That's insane. No, what was it you said? Was it Honey Crisp?
Kanzi apples.
Kanzi. See, I don't even know what that is.
Apples.
It's not even on my Apple radar.
Man, dude, listen. Okay, my problem with Cosmic Crisp is that they're bad apples. Okay, they're good apples. They are just like, there's no apple in all of history that has been advertised the way that Cosmic Crisp has, and it never tastes as good as I feel like it should. Oh. And that's my problem with it. It's like when you go to like this movie that you've been watching the trailer for 12 months, and you're like, that's the best movie ever, I can guarantee it. And then you watch the movie, and it turns out the best part of the entire movie was everything they used for the trailer. That's what eating a Cosmic Crisp apple is like for me.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm sorry, Cosmic.
Man,
that's why you're not sponsoring
me. Right? Oh man. It seems like we're going through a tunnel, Daniel. I'm losing you.
Oh no. I would have to cut my cam off again.
Awkward.
No, I get it.
Let's talk about something like disc golf related or something.
Yeah, so apples. Q series. What do you guys think about that?
Q series.
Well, since I'm on another podcast, I argued for relegation well over a year ago. I think that this is the correct way to handle something like this, and I'm glad that Silver Series aren't Disc Golf Pro Tour points or aren't as focused, I guess I should say, because like hearing the All-Stars press conference today and hearing Calvin say, he's glad he doesn't have to play them. Like, he's one of the top 10 players in the world. Like, he shouldn't have to play them.
Yeah.
To fight for positioning, and things like that. So I'm pro it. I hope they're run well. I hope they're post-produced well. And I hope that we see even more types of Q series, maybe like even outside of the Pro Tour. Like I'm not saying like a rival tour, but like maybe the PDGA says these 4 are for pros under 10-20 or something. I don't know. Make minor league majors or something like that. Something fun like that.
Yeah, I that was kind of my take on it too. That's cool to hear. That like when I first heard about it, it sounded like relegation, like how soccer does it, where like you kind of fall out of contention, you get pushed back to the league behind, and you have a chance to redeem yourself or, prove that you're not above the cut. And that a Granny Smith? Better not be Granny Smith.
No.
First of all, tennis ball.
Yeah. First of all, Granny Smith is extremely underrated because of its diversity in cooking. So I think
it's a great baking apple.
When people like it's a great and like a nice saute too with a piece of pork. Oh, girl. But like you got to. I think we can't just think about only consuming a raw apple when we're calling a king or queen of apples. Like I think it's
that's where
to think about the whole.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying though. Like you remember when I pulled out that applesranking.com thing? That was a real thing. I was giving you real, like that was real stuff I was tweeting at you. There's an actual website about that, and I'm not gonna lie, they actually have a whole they have apples for certain things, and they have like a whole ranking systems in different categories of apples: the best baking apple, the best cooking apple, the best just eating apple, the best juicing apple, that sort of thing. I'm just saying. I'm totally there with you, Pop.
Yeah. You got, what about a nice like grilled cheese? You want that Granny Smith in there? Maybe some bacon, some prosciutto.
What?
Like, man, I've heard of apples on a lot of things, and it doesn't surprise me that there's somebody doing apples on grilled cheese. But bro, I am the simple, plain cheese, white pieces of freaking bread with either butter or mayo on the outside. Just slap that in a hot pan. That is it. It's like, don't get me wrong, Gordon Ramsay can do whatever he want and call it a grilled cheese. That's not what I'm eating at home.
No, I need that Kraft single.
Yeah, please.
The Great Value white bread.
Man, what is it like being a 7-year-old?
Yeah, dude, I am proudly 29 going on 7 here. Okay, I don't care. I'll still eat a Lunchable if you give it to me.
You're talking to a guy who's ordered chicken tenders for 20 years, so you're fine.
Okay, have you guys ever heard of Dollywood?
Yeah.
As a Dollywood is, I'm literally right in the next neck of the woods. My wife and I are season pass holders. I swear to God, my favorite meal that's at Dollywood is the corn dog and curly fries. It's a foot-long corn dog with curly fries, and you can get chili cheese on those curly fries too.
Dude, I go bananas when I go to like a fair and you can get that giant turkey leg. I am a maniac. I will push people over in line. I jumping on top of the booth.
Look, if I'm at Disneyland, you can bet your ass I'm eating a churro at breakfast, a churro at lunch, and a churro at dinner time. Everything else is secondary to the churro there. Sorry.
Yeah. Left field interruption. I once went to a minor league baseball stadium that was advertising an Oreo churro.
Oh,
and the whole day I was excited for this, and I've never been more let down by a dessert.
No.
It was a sad day. It really was.
Back to Q series.
Get back to Q series.
Wait, we weren't talking about apples.
So listen,
it's a weird one.
Yeah, one of the things that if you guys, I'm going to say this 1,000 times tonight. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll already know. So just get used to it right now, okay? It's just like on our old podcast, I would bring up a baseball reference every single episode, and you just had to get over it. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I'm very gray. I don't think of things black and white. There's always a middle ground. There's always something, all right? With the Q series, I love the concept. I want to see the execution before I'm willing to accept that it is the correct thing to do. But on paper, I think they have done everything right here because the Silver Series were necessary as a stepping stone for multitude of reasons. Number one, it was the best way to get onto the tour if you were an underrated player. Mm-hmm. Number two, it was one of the best ways for you to show that you had what it took to be an Elite Series event if you were running the events, i.e., Music City Open, which went to Silver Series Elite, and now we're an Elite that's looking at trying to add a second course to do a 4-day event. Okay. Now we lose out a little bit on that like minor league like tryout phase with the Q series. In my opinion, you kind of lose that ability to give it that dry run for the tour to be an Elite someday. Mm-hmm. But I think what they're doing in terms of giving lower level players that ability to gain the tour card so they can get better is astronomically outweighing that detriment that they cause by getting rid of that B pool of events. And then, more to what Papa was saying as well. Listen, some of the Silver Series last year were a lot more successful than the ones in the years prior. mostly because you brought better fields because the points were more worth it to go.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that feeling that so many players felt the need to go to them just because the points were actually worth going now.
Yeah. Well,
I
as
think
a
it doesn't streamline anything that way.
yeah, as a consumer of the Pro Tour, right? I have no aspirations of trying to get my tour card.
No.
As a consumer of, I like seeing the big names every weekend at whatever event, right? Like whether it be like Throw Down the Mountain or whatever else, any of those Silver Series or smaller tournaments. I like seeing the big names at it makes it feel like the pros love the game still, and they're not just doing it for, but also I understand as a human being that gets wear and tear on them, that playing every weekend probably isn't sustainable. You got to have some rest. So I definitely get both of them.
I mean,
And
and that's
as well
that's
with,
a big thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I think they're making a lot of good strides in terms of scheduling. No offense to anybody who loves LVC, but I don't think LVC would be successful. If it was during the West Coast swing, in my opinion, personally. I don't think it's attractive enough of a view for DGN. But they needed to get rid of that weird West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast thing that
the
they were
bouncing.
doing. It was so bad for the schedule. And even still, there's a lot of major errors. Like, there's a lot of places I feel like they're going back to back to back to back, and then like 2 weekends off. And it's like, why couldn't we add like a week off here and a week off there? And I know some of it comes down to coordination with the events and what they're capable of doing at their venues, but I'm hoping that we're trending in the right direction of starting to see more, mid-tour breaks to allow players to decompress.
For sure. I feel like that's the European Open for a lot of pros because they just can't make it.
Yeah. I mean, one final thing on the Q series is and like going off Daniel's point, like we are taking steps in the right direction because we're trying something new, and we're the sport is doing this new. We look back at before even Silver Series we did, and before there was even a ratings floor. You go back to 2018 D-Glow, and I think Paul beat the last place guy by like 85, 90 strokes, something like that. So like having these steps forward, eventually we added the rating cap, and I say we, like I work for Pro Tour, I don't. Eventually they made that decision, and then eventually, the Silver Series to be able to draw more people in that way, and now the Q Series. The thing that I hope for is I hope that wherever these Q Series are happening, whatever courses they are, whatever clubs, communities that are supporting these events, that like people show out, like come and watch live golf, come and watch these next people. We tried to get one qualifier up here, and our team didn't quite get it, but some other people might have. So we'll go and support them. And I think that that's one of the things that's super huge as far as recognizing where our sport needs to go is that engagement for the Q Series or the minor leagues or whatever you tell them. Like your local A tier, like your club should be advertising to come and watch this if it's free, especially.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I understand, and I probably, I would say you know better than me in this situation, but I mean, there's no intention of monetizing Q Series spectator wise currently, right?
I think that's going to be on a like individual event, because some places are on private property, some places aren't public. Sometimes there's a fee to get in a park. There's a lot of layers to those types of things. So it's going to be better for the fan, I think, to going out and like getting closer, being able to see it. Especially like there's nothing cooler than going to your local course and watching someone just shred it, like just kill
absolutely.
Like oh man, I shoot like even here, and that guy's 18 down. I suck.
Well, have you guys heard of a pro named Brandon Brown?
Can't say.
Doesn't ring a bell.
So he's kind of a lower level on tour player, but he plays a fair amount of tour events. I think he played like 6 or 7 events last year, Elite Series or something like that. He just posted on one of our players' pages today, I kid you not, the layout for the tournament that I'm playing this Saturday on one of the 2 courses. He scored an 18 down. And it's not like the layout we're playing is definitely one of the easier versions of that course, but still 18 down. I'm just
18
like,
down is 18 down, man.
I'm just like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm just gonna be happy to like be a couple under par, and he just shot an 18 down, and I'm like, and he was like, this was an insane round, but still, ugh.
No, absolutely. Like there's a course in my area, Big Woods, that like even I think it's around 960 rated. Like depends on conditions, of course, but like in general, even's about 960.
Fair.
And like I shoot +4 on a casual day tournament. You know, you can add 3-4 strokes to that. But like the pro guy, the MPO guys that play there during the tournaments, and like they're shooting -9 stuff like that, and I don't know how that's possible out there. You know, so it really is cool to see that like the shift in skill ceiling, right? Because when you're just playing your local C tier, like, you know, it's the difference between me playing Big Woods Open versus Big Woods Massacre. Like Big Woods Open has a way bigger pull in terms of like talent that drives to the event versus Massacre is just kind of it's a chill C tier. Like, so the scores aren't as good, but when it's crazy to see that. Like, I have yet to spectate a Pro Tour event, and I really want to.
I'm trying you gotta do that.
I'm trying to make it to DMC this year too. It's only 2 hours away. I just got to get the tickets, you know. Maybe get a media badge.
Speaking of tickets, did you sign up for your pro version of?
I have not. I'm still getting recurring charges from DGN. I just don't know which. Like, so before they did the tiered system, I don't know what the base charge would turn into if you just have it on recurring payment. You know, if it just rolls over, if it puts you at the basic plan or like the middle tier.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Center tier. It's the middle
center tier.
Naturally.
Yeah. I saw a lot of flack. Surprisingly, I saw a lot of flack for what DGN did with their tiered subscription service, and like I kind of get it, but also a lot of the stuff I saw was uninformed.
Yeah.
90% of it was completely uninformed. I mean,
like I saw people saying that like you only get to see like the first round, or you know, like most of the time if it says that you're just getting ads still. Like you still get full access. You just get ads. And then
first thing that I'll come out and say is Drew Gibson caused a lot of it single-handedly.
Yes.
Number one, what he was talking about in his tweet, I understand, and he made a lot of sense, and it was a lot of stuff that like I get it and I agree, but you told 1/3 of the story, and because of that, you caused thousands of people to look at that and react to that, and then go, "Wow, it's really $20 a month now, like minimum to watch disc golf." No.
Thousands of people on Twitter. That's not counting his stuff getting screenshot, put it on Reddit, put on Facebook, put on Instagram. Like that
I was
message
kind of including all of it, but yeah, because you know there are going to be the people who are smart enough to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm kind of assuming all of it encompassed of the people who were not like I mean, at the first thing was just like I saw like 5 comments who were like, "Wow, that's just asinine. I'm canceling my subscription now," and I'm like,
you're getting more value now. I don't understand what people were mad about.
Don't get me wrong. Go ahead.
It's just unfortunate, you know. Right as soon as they shared that on Facebook, I went in, I logged in, I changed my subscription to Pro, made a post about it right away. That's how I support disc golf. Like that's how we keep disc golf moving forward, in my opinion. Had a couple of people react negatively, a couple of people react positively. One person had some questions. Guess who responds to one of those questions?
To you?
I didn't see it.
Jeff Spring.
Oh, just shut up.
He's like was on a plane flying down to All Stars. Must have been bored. I don't know how I ended up on his feed. But like, put it this way: when the CEO of the whole thing is out there trying to hustle too, like you gotta have a little bit of pride in that product, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and so like my whole thing, what my reply or my retweet or quote tweet, whatever you want to call it, of it was something along the lines of, I don't think that it was the best move for them to do it this year, particularly. And that's more based on the fact that I think that when you're rolling out a whole new software, you got to give that a chance to like succeed before just bam slapping a new label on it. And that's personal, like the way that I've run business in the past. Now I understand that their desire is not necessarily to do that, and that's, you know, that's albeit to them. But the main thing and the most important thing is that they didn't take away a whole lot by doing what they did from what we already have. The only thing that you lost was USDGC and European Open, which have both been pay-per-view at some point in time in the past anyways.
Yeah.
So when push comes to shove, it was a little bit of a slide backwards in the main package, and that is it. So
yeah, but like, so like if you're, I'm reading, I have their thing pulled up that they posted, right? So if you are a PDGA member, right? You get DGN Basic for free.
Yep.
From what I'm reading here.
Which is essentially, it's the same package as it has always been. Essentially, there were certain like 5 or so events that were automatically for free for any PDGA member.
Yeah.
And basically, they've kind of come out and done that same thing this year.
They've done that in the past. Basically, what they're doing is they're saying if you're a member of the PDGA, because it's a partner program, you now have back access to everything in our vault. Which is really important. It gives, the documentaries, the things like that. Plus, we normally would have round 1 on YouTube. We're now going to stream it through our service to get people to go and continue to use that.
Yeah.
I think that's great from a setup, from a brand marketing standpoint, things like that. And again, it's.
I think as I read it, as first rounds will still be provided through YouTube.
That's good. I'm going to be honest. I hope they get rid of that eventually.
Just not with So
honestly, I'm okay with it as the way that it is right now. I thought I was upset back when it was the final round. I thought it was asinine that I was paying for a product and they were giving out the final round for free.
Yeah,
I don't really care about the first
Makes
round.
sense.
It's already like Fridays and Thursdays are already background noise for me as it is. And to be completely honest, when I was at work, the YouTube stream almost always worked better for me than DGN because I was on cellular. And
yeah, I mean,
so it was just on a desktop at work. I didn't even have to log into anything, and that was actually pretty nice for me personally.
I do like that they stream first round, or when they did that they streamed first round for free, because it does seem like a kind of a true grow the sport mentality, right? You're giving out this, especially it makes a lot more sense when the live coverage is still young and they're figuring out issues and stuff. So you're just kind of you're troubleshooting live and giving the quote unquote product away for free, because first round you're going to have all the hiccups. At least by second round you figured some stuff out, and hopefully by final round you have as polished of a product as you can, right?
Yeah.
And get people hooked in first round, be like, oh, there's some cool storylines happening, how do I watch the rest of it? And then you get that funnel of, random person stumbles on the YouTube stream, realize they can't get round 2, and go sign up for EGN, maybe get a PDGA membership, maybe become the next Paul Macbeth. That's how that happens.
And that was my whole thing with I thought it was ridiculous when they were like last round only for free. Yeah. I was like, you're devaluing what we're paying for. Because it's the most important round for a lot of people. It's actually the only round that they want to watch anyways. So
right,
now as for like these people who like overreacted, because you brought up a really good point of like this service is growing and is young and is very relatively inexpensively built compared to what we see other people do in other sports. And I'm going to say something that I normally wouldn't be this black and white about. Usually I'm a pretty gray person, but the amount of times I saw on whatever app it was that it's asinine or ridiculous that they charge for what they're offering from live services. You guys are out of your minds, bro. You guys are expecting an ESPN type quality package for this $12.99 that you're paying. Do you have any idea what they pay to produce those products? I did some research actually, just for this entire bit, because
Let me
it's one of the
hold.
things I've been so
I don't mean to
angry
interrupt you.
about. No, you go ahead.
Brian's got to go. From
Yep.
what I know,
I do.
we're very good
you.
at segues and stuff like that on
Oh,
the
you're
show.
good.
So,
Absolutely.
but thank you so much for being on here, Spicy. It was great to see, great to join you once again.
Spicy Junior.
Yeah, that seems weird for me, but
Yeah,
we'll give away
hey, he called you Spicy first.
a Ellie Raptor from Great Lakes Discs, Z Swirl. Shank, you figure out how to give it away. I'll see you next time. Go Granny Smith.
No, that's the giveaway. You have to tell Papa Wolf that Cosmic Crisp is better than Granny Smith.
That's
He's gonna hate that.
Honestly, actually, I'm gonna be with you on that, because Cosmic Crisp over Granny Smith. I didn't want to say anything,
every day.
But okay, so back to this topic.
Yes.
The amount of times that I've seen somebody comment that, and this is not exclusive to just this recent scenario. This is something I've seen a lot over the last few years. Okay, a sport like disc golf, or golf in general, takes a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of camera work. It takes camera quality that is beyond what disc golf is capable of paying for right now. If we just want to talk about, let's just talk about NFL. Your average Sunday afternoon, CBS, Fox, whatever, anywhere between $2 and $10 million per game to
Holy
produce
smokes.
just for television. ESPN on Monday night, upwards of 10. Every single Monday night is what they pay to produce that. Now, a lot of that goes into everything, not just the camera work, but royalty fees to the brands and this, that, and the other. But
graphic overlays
in terms of just the equipment, just bringing on the announcers, which we have a problem with in disc golf, in having the quality of our announcing be not what we would like it to be. We don't have the money for that. And the best way for us to encourage having the money for this stuff to grow is for paying for a baby product like this. Because I'm going to be honest, there's no way in hell that we are ever going to start paying $10 million for a single tournament weekend.
No, not at all. We can't even make the purses hardly worth it for the pros to show up.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest, and that's, I've made this argument a lot. It's like, I think it's funny, I think disc golf would do really well on ESPN if they really gave it a chance. I mean, just look at what cornhole does. But the truth is that cornhole is just a couple of cameras and a couple of guys that sit at a table and talk about it.
Yeah.
That production costs them nothing to make, which is why it does so well. ESPN does not want to provide the cameras of the quality you need to track a disc in disc golf.
No, not at all.
Not even close.
I think so. I'm new to the sport, right? I'm a COVID golfer. I was aware of disc golf before that. Like I had a bag and discs and stuff, but I never cared much about it until COVID hit. And I think with a lot of that, people that joined from COVID that weren't aware of disc golf prior joined thinking it was a fleshed out sport, that we have everything that they can be picky about. And disc golf is still very much in the space of like a lot of the stuff that you're paying for that doesn't give you the value that you expect. You need to see it as a donation. You're donating to disc golf and the advancement of that, because then maybe our kids will have ESPN quality disc golf coverage and pro tour events and stuff like that. But like, right, I mean, you think about when our parents' generation of disc golfers, like they were watching the 92 Worlds through a VHS camera. Like,
if they were watching it all,
if you could even find a tape of it, shit like that. Like we're still very much in the infancy of this sport. And I tell that to everybody whenever they're like, they're scared to make content or get in there, like try to push that door down. We are so early in disc golf still, even post COVID boom. Like, you think there's a lot of disc golf podcasts? Do you know how many football podcasts there are?
I mean,
It's
I
insane.
couldn't even count the amount of football podcasts that are probably produced here in Knoxville on one hand.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, so, you think that there's 15 disc golf podcasts that upload regularly. That's all you have to do to stand out amongst the cut is just be consistent. We're still so early. If you want in, get in. Like this bus is driving by so slow. Hop
It's
in,
like,
bro.
I think people also have a hard time imagining. I mean, it's when you look at the professional sport as it is right now, it's like, well, man, but we've already had Ken Climo and we've already had Paul Macbeth. I mean, how much better could it really get than that? And I'm like,
We've got
man,
the Gannon Burrs and
you're talking about like you know Arnold Palmer's in the golf
yeah,
era. Like we're talking way back, like these legends that we still talk about and love, but we are nowhere near Tiger Woods yet.
no,
We
no,
are
no, no.
the Tiger Woods of disc golf is a long way away,
Oh,
in
for
my
sure.
opinion.
Maybe not
It is not in this generation. It's not any player that's playing right now.
no, absolutely not. Yeah, I think the Tiger Woods of the sport is coming soon. Probably in the next 10 years, we'll see someone like that's a cut above the rest.
Yeah,
But
he'll
as
start
of right
being like a
now,
junior.
like I'm trying to, I don't know golf that well, like traditional golf. But you think of Paul Macbeth as like a Brett Favre, over Mahomes, right? Like they're both very good, but Mahomes is probably the best we've seen yet. At least in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a football guy, but
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, Mahomes is trending in the right direction, but I still can't take it away from Tom Brady as much as I hate his stinking
oh no,
guts.
for sure. As much as I hate his stinking gut. This is the part that's
Man,
going
I
to get me
hate that
attacked
guy.
of the
I
podcast
hate
because
that guy, but he's the best quarterback that has ever lived.
it's
Mahomes
fair.
is trending in that direction, though.
Yeah.
He's moving the right way and very fast.
Yeah, I don't watch sports really. I paid attention to the Super Bowl a little
That's
bit.
okay. I'll take over for you, sports buff over here. Like I'm not going to be that kind of guy who could tell you every man and every history and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
no,
trying to make an analogy. I think I've
yeah,
flopped it.
and so
But
like for me, if you were looking for anybody who does like golf, I really do consider um like Arnold Palmer is really I think a very good analogy of what Paul Macbeth really is because
gotcha.
Palmer didn't win the most majors or anything like that, but he was just the best. He was just so dominant for his era. He
Yeah.
did things that nobody did.
For
He was
sure.
just a true cut above the rest. And the era in which he came into his scene was just it was just one of those things. Sports
Yeah.
life.
Oh, for sure. Well, we're at right about time. It was great talking to you, man.
Sure.
Can't wait for you guys' podcast to kick off and your super secret project that you've been keeping super secret.
Do you want me to spoil it for you right now?
If you want to.
I'll
You're gonna
spoil
do it
it
right
for
here.
you right now. I'll do
Ooh,
it right here, right now.
right here
We're gonna close
for
out
all,
the show
for
with
all
my
8 people.
spoilers. For all of the 8 people and whoever watches this at a later time, for those of you who do follow on Twitter, you'll know that I'm starting to work on a super secret project. Now it's been delayed a little bit, and part of that has to do with some pay. We had a big snowstorm, and I literally got stuck inside my house for 7 days.
Ooh,
Not the snow; it was the ice that came afterwards.
yeah,
That was really the big problem. But anyways, so I went like a week and a half without getting paid a dollar. I had a paycheck that was like $230. I kid you not, and I was like, "That's gonna hurt. That's gonna put some
yeah.
in." But anyways, coming up here very soon, I'm going to be launching an entirely brand new YouTube channel. I don't have it ready to link in this description for you guys or anything like that yet, but eventually I'll probably be back on the show to talk about it. I'm assuming,
Absolutely.
and the I'm going to do some videos just to grow the channel and get it going. Probably
Hmm.
5 or so videos, and then I'm going to start a new series. And this new series is going to be: Can I fix my form using tips from other sports?
Ooh, fun. I like that.
And it's going to be a really really interesting thing for anybody who knows anything about me. I really like to delve into form, but my personal form has never been worked on in any way, shape, or form outside of like a couple of things like reaching back in the proper direction, which I
Hmm.
learned like 7 or 8 years ago, and I've always implemented it since then. And then like tipping the coffee or whatever to get the right nose angle.
Yeah.
That is almost the complete extent of how much I've implemented into my disc golf form my entire life. I didn't even know I was doing an next step like run up until at least a few years into disc golfing. I had no idea that I was even doing what you were supposed to do. I just
Guys, it
kept
just felt
how I was
natural.
throwing.
Yeah.
That was just my natural like baseball, basketball, football athleticism kind of just kicking in. It just
Yeah.
felt like it was what I was supposed to do, and I had seen a couple of guys do it, and I did it, and I never really tried. So I'm going to be spending an entire year this year basically taking tips from other sports. I'm going to be starting the first episode is going to be something related to baseball because that's where my personal background lies the most in. And I'm going to go through my personal experience in baseball, find the tip that helped me the most, and try to transfer that into disc golf form because one of the things about a lot of these big sports, baseball, tennis, golf, football, even maybe I might find a way to implement that. These sports have something in common that disc golf doesn't have, and that's their age. And that means that they have gone through 100+ years of refinement, including
Yeah.
the highest level of technology. And they have juiced almost everything that they can juice out of the human body up until this point. And disc golf has not even begun to scratch the surface of that. So I'm going to see if I can find these small tips from other sports, implement them into my own form. It is not going to be something I recommend anybody else to do, but I hope you follow along.
No, I absolutely will. Don't hurt yourself, for one.
I won't. It'll be nothing that's like out of the extraordinary. Like it's not going to be anything wild. It's going to be like small things. Like the first thing with baseball is actually going to be how you load your backside and move it through the front side when you're hitting, when you're taking a swing. It's almost identical to what you do in disc golf properly. The only difference is the timing is off. Like when you shift your hips in hitting is just off from when you shift your hips in disc golf, and that's the only difference. Everything else is identical, and I'm pretty excited for that. I'm excited because I mean, like, shoot,
Me too.
if I can take something that Mike Trout does to be the best player in baseball and implement it in my disc golf form, I'm pretty sure I will be at least a little bit better.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I would say so. All right, man. Anything you'd like to plug other than your YouTube, like your handles, where they can find you?
Yeah, so anything that you can find us, I know like Instagram and TikTok have been really quiet. However, we are going to be increasing content starting next Saturday or next Sunday, let's say. Next Saturday, the other two and I will be playing a doubles tournament, and we're going to be doing some stuff around that and starting to kind of coordinate other types of like small form content. And we're going to get back to that sort of stuff. And then outside of that, anywhere that you can find us, our handle should be at TN2s DG or at TN2s_DG or something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
With the title of Tennessee 2s DG or Tennessee 2s Disc Golf.
Heck yeah, man. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's just me now. All by myself. No. All right, man. We do this for every guest. Give us a scream.
Thanks for listening to Hanging Loose, a disc golf podcast. We'll be back again next week. Until then, hang loose.